Welcome to this episode of Ask the Guitar Coach, the only podcast where you get answers to all your guitar-related questions. If you're interested in developing your guitar skills and reaching your music goals, please send me an email at the email address ioannis@ioannis.org. That is ioannis@ioannis.org, so that I can let you know about all the different packages of elite guitar coaching and how you can get private coaching by me. Without further ado, let's go to our question for the day. 5 things I would advise my younger self to develop much faster in guitar. So today we're going to talk about 5 things I would tell myself if I had like a time machine and go back 20 or 30 years and be able to have a quick conversation with myself. 5 things I would tell this young kid on what he should do to become a good guitar player much faster. Now, disclaimer, he probably would be too stubborn to listen to me, but I don't know if I would be able to convince him, but these are the 5 things I would tell him. So let's get started with number 1. Always have a good guitar teacher throughout the first years of your playing. Now, I was very lucky. I had a couple of really good teachers during the first few years of my playing, but for reasons beyond my and their control, I had to take a couple of years off in between those teachers. So I would get a couple of years of lessons, then he had to leave the country for some reasons, and then come back after 1 year and a half, and I wouldn't look for another teacher through this time. This was a mistake. The first thing I would tell my younger self would be to always have a good teacher and always be taking lessons with a good teacher. Advice number 2. Absolutely, totally stop going to guitar shops and music stores for any reasons except to buy picks and strings, and if possible, just order those from Amazon. In my opinion, there's nothing good that comes out of going to guitar stores and music stores and mixing with a group of people that in most cases do not have a very healthy outlook about music and guitar. What do I mean? They're very competitive, they just want to show off to each other and turn the whole music thing into a competition, who is the fastest, who has played most live performances, who gets the most girls. Just one very competitive thing, which is, I understand that competition has a role in life, but when you're learning and you're trying to focus on your studies and becoming better, as I have mentioned in previous video, your competition should only be yourself. So there's nothing really to be gained from going to these places and associating, once again, not with everybody, but with the majority of people that hang out there. Advice number 3. Stop worrying about sounding like other people and learn a lot of licks from them. This was a problem I had when I was like in my late teens, early 20s. I didn't want to learn licks from other guitar players because I thought I would end up sounding like them, and I really believe that this kept me. It did not help with my progress, held me back for a while. Meanwhile, what I should have done would be to learn as many licks as possible so that I could see how those great players structure their licks and their musical phrases, and this would give me inspiration and understanding that I could use afterwards for my own playing. So this would be definitely advice number 3. Stop worrying about sounding like everybody else and learn a lot of licks from famous players. And now let's go to number 4. Number 4 is gonna be very hotly contested by many people, and I'm sure we're gonna see that in the comments of this video. And my advice would be, don't stay in one band for too long. Once again, this is if you want to learn and you want to progress fast. Usually when you go to a new band and you have new people and maybe you're playing a kind of music you've not played before, it really kicks your ass the first couple of months, maybe 3-4 months, because you have to learn quickly, you have to adapt, you have to learn the different songs, different styles. You have different musicians that are challenging you to become better. But after 4, 5, maybe 6 months, this really evens out, and then you're not learning anymore. Now, if you want to stay in the band and enjoy yourself, it's perfectly fine. But if you want to keep learning, around the 6-month mark, and we're talking about an average band now, you should probably leave the band and go join a different one, which again is gonna start this thing to kick your ass and get better over and over again. So if you are trying to get better, I would suggest leaving the band around the 6-month mark. And that's exactly the kind of advice I would give my younger self. Don't stay in a band for more than 6 months unless you're really, really having fun playing music with them, but know that you're not getting any better after the 6-month point. And let's move to number 5. Number 5 is probably the most important one. And it's a very simple advice. It's don't worry, just keep practicing and keep following the previous 4 advice that we just talked about, and things are going to plan out. Now, I was never very stressed when it came to develop my guitar playing. I had a relatively stable rate of progress, but there were times where I was stressed about, oh, will I be able to make a living out of this? Will I be able to become a professional musician and live my life from music instead of having to get a more regular job and stuff like that? So there were periods in my life that kind of stressed me a little bit. So if I was able to go back 20 or 30 years and to talk to my really, really young self, and I would tell him, just don't worry about things, just, keep practicing, keep getting better. You have a good teacher to guide you, and later on a good mentor or coach, and it's gonna be fine. And this would be a very, very important piece of advice, because if you're gonna be stuck in a process and learning process for several years or decades, then you really need to be not stressed about it, to be able to chill and at least enjoy it up to a certain degree. Maybe not every part of the way, you can't enjoy all the exams and some difficulties that come with it, but enjoy at least most of it. So there you have it. 5 pieces of advice I would give my younger self if I was able to get a time machine and go back 20 or 30 years in the past and talk to this young kid that was just learning guitar and was hoping to become a professional. So I hope this was helpful and maybe even a little bit fun, and I will see you on the next episode of Ask the Guitar Coach. Bye bye.